Have you ever loved someone so deeply that somewhere along the way you forgot yourself? Have you ever stayed too long? Or maybe you settled for less? Perhaps ignored red flags? Or tried to fix someone who just wasn't ready to heal? If so, Chiron moving through your seventh house, it isn't here to punish you. It's here to help you understand why those patterns developed in the first place. Because the relationships that hurt us often reveal the parts of ourselves that still need healing. And the relationship you're truly being asked to transform is the one you have with yourself. So, hello, welcome in. This is Intuitive Dreams 1111. We are a channel that does both tarot and astrology. Today, we are talking about Chiron moving into Taurus. So, the seventh house is where we learn about commitment, compromise, trust, reciprocity, and emotional vulnerability. It represents not only romantic relationships, but also business partnerships, close friendships that function like partnerships, and every one-on-one connection that shapes your life. When Chiron enters this house, relationships become the greatest teachers. Some relationships are going to deepen, others are going to end, and then some will begin. Every one of them has something important to teach you about yourself. For Scorpio rising, Chiron asks one profound question. Do you believe you have to earn love, or do you believe you're always worthy of love simply because you exist? That one question becomes the foundation of this entire journey. So let's talk a little bit about the seventh house. It governs marriage, long-term romantic partnerships, business partnerships, contracts, negotiation, collaborations, one-on-one relationships, commitments, trust, balance, equality, reciprocity. While the first house represents me, the seventh house represents we. It teaches us how to share our lives without losing ourselves. When Chiron enters this house, the dynamics of your closest relationships begin to change. So let's talk about the healing relationship patterns. Chiron's greatest lesson in the seventh house is revealing reoccurring relationship patterns. So you're going to probably notice themes such as choosing emotionally unavailable partners, becoming the caretaker, having fear of abandonment, maybe difficulty trusting others, losing your identity in relationships, settling because you're afraid of being alone, maybe avoiding vulnerability, and repeating family relationship dynamics. These patterns don't appear because you're unlucky. They often reflect beliefs formed from long before your current relationship began. Chiron helps you to understand where those beliefs actually came from and gives you the opportunity to choose differently. Taurus wants stability. Taurus seeks commitment, consistency, and emotional safety. As Chiron moves through Taurus, you may realize you've confused stability with familiarity. Sometimes people stay in unhealthy relationships because they're predictable. Healing teaches you that true stability isn't created through fear. It's created through mutual respect, trust, honesty, and shared values. You will begin asking, does this relationship help me become more myself or less? That question can change everything. So, this transit's about learning healthy boundaries. Many Scorpio risings naturally love deeply. They give fully. They protect fiercely. But sometimes that intensity can lead to sacrificing too much. This transit teaches the importance of healthy boundaries. So you may learn to speak your needs openly. Stop over explaining yourself. Walk away from one-sided relationships. Allow others to take responsibility for their own healing. Choose mutual effort instead of emotional chasing. You'll realize that boundaries don't push love away, they protect it. So, the healing, the fear, and vulnerability is part of this transit. So, despite Scorpio's emotional depth, many Scorpio risings carefully guard their hearts. There's past betrayals can create walls that feel impossible to lower. Chiron is going to gently ask, what if vulnerability isn't weakness? This doesn't mean trusting everyone. It means learning who has earned your trust. Real intimacy isn't built on perfection. It's built on honesty. As healing unfolds, you become more comfortable allowing yourself to be fully known. So there's marriage and long-term commitment through this transit. Chiron in the 7th house may coincide with meeting a life partner, deepening an existing marriage, renewing commitments, couples counseling, separation or divorce that leads to healing, redefining what partnership means. Every relationship experience during this transit serves a purpose. Even endings often create space for healthier beginnings. Chiron doesn't guarantee a specific outcome. It encourages more authentic relationships. So the transit, as we know, is going to pass through business partnerships. This transit may encourage you to build stronger business relationships, create contracts with healthier boundaries, end partnerships that no longer align with your values. Collaborate with people who genuinely respect your contributions. Trust becomes an essential part of every alignment. You'll likely become more selective about who you build with. This transit is about learning reciprocity. There's lessons in balance. Relationships thrive when both people contribute. You may begin noticing where you've given more than you've received, accepted less than you deserved, carried emotional burdens alone, felt responsible for other person's happiness. Chiron teaches that healthy love isn't measured on how much you sacrifice. It's measured by how both people support each other's growth. So there's healing self-worth through relationships. Because Taurus governs value and self-worth, many relationship challenges during this transit ultimately lead back to one question: How do I value myself? Where your self-worth strengthens, you stop chasing people who don't choose you. You stop accepting inconsistent behavior. You stop believing love requires suffering. Instead, you begin attracting relationships that reflect and respect what you've developed for yourself. Now, there is a shadow and challenging side to the transit, and that's with every transit. So there may be some temporary discomfort, and it could be relationship uncertainty, maybe fear of commitment, having fear of abandonment, trust issues start to resurface, having difficult conversations. Some could have breakups. Some are going to experience loneliness, questioning what you truly want in a partner. These experiences don't mean love is leaving your life. They often mean your definition of love is evolving. So the gift with Chiron being in the 7th house, by the end of the transit, your greatest relationship may not simply be with another person. It will be with yourself. You'll know your worth. You'll trust your instincts. You'll communicate honestly. You'll establish healthy boundaries. You'll stop abandoning yourself to keep somebody else comfortable. You'll recognize that love shouldn't require pretending to be somebody you're not. And because you've healed the relationship within yourself, you'll naturally create healthy relationships with others. So the powerful transit for conscious partnerships. If you're already in a healthy relationship, this transit is going to strengthen your bond. You and your partner may heal old wounds together, improve communication, build greater emotional security, create shared financial stability, and support each other's growth. If you're single, the transit can prepare you for the kind of relationship you've always wanted, not by changing somebody else, but by changing your beliefs that shape the partners you choose. So what are the practical ways you can work with this transit? Reflect on reoccurring relationship patterns instead of blaming yourself. Practice expressing your needs clearly and respectfully. Strengthen your self-worth independently of relationship status. Learn the difference between healthy compromise and self-abandonment. Surround yourself with people who choose actions consistently that match their words. If needed, consider couples counseling or relationship coaching to improve communication and understanding. Remember that healthy partnership supports your growth rather than limiting it. So the final message, if you're a Scorpio rising, Chiron's journey through Taurus in the 7th house is one of the most meaningful relationship transits you'll ever experience. The 2026 preview introduces lessons of partnership, trust, commitment, and self-worth. When Chiron settles into Taurus in 2027, you'll have years to heal old relationship patterns and create connections built on authenticity instead of fear. By the time this transit is complete, you may realize that the greatest lesson wasn't about finding the perfect partner. It was about becoming the version of yourself who no longer settles for relationships that ask you to shrink, hide, or abandon your own needs. Because Chiron in the 7th house teaches one of the most powerful truths in astrology. The relationship you build with others will always reflect the relationship you've built with yourself. And when you truly value yourself, you stop chasing love that has to be earned and begin welcoming the kind of love that grows through mutual respect, honesty, consistency, and trust. So if you like this kind of content and you find it to be helpful, please be sure to subscribe, share, like, comment. All of it helps the channel to grow, and it does help the algorithms to push this out to others who need to hear this message like you did. So until the next one, I hope that you find this to be helpful and healing for your relationships. I love you guys. I will talk to you soon.